Welcome to yet another edition of the Stats and Stacks podcast. For today, we're just going over NFL Week 3, some fantasy options as well as some bets and totals and overs. So let's again not waste a second of your time. Jump right into the action. We are doing a little later, so the Thursday night game already happened. So my guess is that the Panthers won, mainly because I just watched it. They dominated. Sam Darnold looked okay. Brandon Cooks proves that you can use him no matter who the QB is. He just produces. Christian McCaffrey injury has everyone tilting. Robbie Anderson continues not to be a thing, and I was totally wrong on his usage. And DJ Moore, man, he's the real deal. So some pretty interesting points fantasy wise. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and we'll dive into this week. I always have the Bills game up first just because that is my favorite team. Them against the Washington football team, I love the Bills. I love the Bills to win. I don't like the line at -7.5. Uh, I mean, in all honesty, I am going to pick the Bills to win, especially with it being at home, especially with it being Taylor Heineke, them barely beating the Giants. Like the Bills should roll. I just don't like 7.5 with that Washington defense. In all honesty, that half point might push me over the edge. Bills are fine in like a teaser, tease them 6 or 7 points, but I mean, 7.5. I'm not the biggest fan of, but if I had to bet, I would take the Bills. But I'm a homer, so fantasy wise, you're going to start Diggs. I don't know what's going on with Beasley with all of the new rules in New York in reference to needing the shot in order to attend the games. I don't know if Beasley isn't even going to be allowed to play. I know Andrew Wiggins isn't going to be able to play home games in Golden State with their rules. So I don't know what's going on there. So stay away from him. Just start Josh Allen and Diggs. Singletary, for whatever reason, you've been able to start as of late. You want to keep riding the hot hand, you can, but I mean, Zach Moss also came in and got 2 touchdowns last week, so I'm not too sure. I'd probably stay away from that backfield. It's a little murky. Taylor Heineke has shown to just micro target whatchamacallit, Terry McLaurin. So you can start him. You can start Gibson, even though he's having a little bit of a weird year. It's only week 3. You don't just ditch him now. So those are probably my only 2 starts on the Washington side. The Buffalo Bills defense, I don't hate this week as a defense. I don't think I talked about defenses at all the last 2 weeks. So they're perfectly fine to start as well. So yeah, the pick is the Bills. I guess I would have no choice but to bet the Bills with Heineke. But I don't feel the best about it with it being 7.5. So next game, we have the Bears going up against the 1-1 Cleveland Browns. We have Cleveland as -7.5 favorites. Don't like that at all. In all honesty, I'm kind of rolling with the Bears here to cover in regards to a betting standpoint. The over-under set at 45. Doable, but at this, oh God, it's just Justin Fields, man. He is a tale of 2 stories last week. He had some passes dropped by receivers that would have helped the stat line, but he did make some rookie mistakes as well. It's just that half point again that is throwing me off a little bit. In regards to starts, I mean, I probably wouldn't start Fields. You can still start A-Rob. You have to. David Montgomery, you can definitely start. I think he's going to go off this week. In regards to the Browns, you can start Chubb. You're going to no matter what. The receiving core is shady, man. It's real shaky. You can try to start OBJ in his return, but it's his first game in forever. I know Jarvis isn't there, so he should get targets considering who's left there, but the whole game is shaky. You have a rookie quarterback making his first start. You have a team with no wide receivers, but then they get their star wide receiver back, but he coming off a torn ACL for his first game. It's just shakiness. 2 decent running backs. Not a lot of fantasy value, and for a bet, I don't like that half point with the Browns, so I would have to take the Bears to at least cover the 7.5. Next game, we have the Ravens going up against Detroit Lions. Lions set at 8.5. I guess I agree to an extent. I know Lamar hurt himself celebrating last week, so it's a little questionable, but any mispractice today on Thursday. But I guess it's an illness, and he should be good to go. So as long as Lamar is there, I feel fully confident in the Ravens can cover the spread. I feel fully confident to start Lamar. As of right now, you can start Marquise Goodwin. Mark Andrews is looking a little shaky this year, but I mean, tight ends, who even cares? You're going to start them. Running backs, murky. I'd probably not start any of them. Or start all of them, considering it's the Detroit Lions. The Lions are ass. For whatever reason, you would be able to start Jared Goff every week because they're always playing catch up. I swear, Jared Goff is about to be the Blake Bortles of 2021. That year, Blake Bortles was like a top 3 quarterback in fantasy because it was all just sheer garbage time. I could see that happening again. He just has no receivers to throw to, so it makes it a little tougher. He can throw to Swift, who you can start. Jamal Williams is a spot start. You can try to start him if you want, but if you have another option, I would. And TJ Hawkinson is a stud. He's probably going to finish as a top 3 tight end this year. So the pick is Ravens, bet Ravens, and then a limited fantasy value there as well. Then it comes to the Colts and Titans, set at 5.5 for Tennessee. Over under set at 48. I'm looking at that a little more. I need to know what's happening with Carson Wentz. If Carson Wentz is out, I love the Titans minus 5.5. If Carson Wentz is in, and we don't have the Jacob Eason experience, then I'm probably still leaning the Titans in all honesty. I know they haven't looked the greatest, but they should roll here, especially if it's a backup QB at home. Titans are going to start A.J. Brown. You're going to start Julio, who looked phenomenal last week. You're going to start Derrick Henry. You're going to start Ryan Tannehill. In all honesty, you're going to start all 4 of your studs. Colts, their wide receiver room is just a carousel. You don't know if it's going to be Pittman, if it's going to be Pascal. You don't know who it's going to be. You know it's going to be Jonathan Taylor, so you can start him, and I'd probably leave it at that. Just because I know the Titans D is god awful, but I don't know who's throwing them the ball, so it's going to be a lot of Jonathan Taylor, and you could probably spot start Nyheim Hines, but that's not my go-to. So pick is Titans, bet is Titans. Next pick, we had the Chargers up against the Chiefs. Chiefs -7 in this game at home. I don't hate it, in all honesty. That's probably the way I would lean on them covering. I was looking at the over 54.5, but the Chargers are a little up and down with their offense this year. They're getting a ton of yards, but not putting a lot of points on the board. I don't really know what's going on there. And the Chiefs defense isn't the worst. The Chiefs are going to start your traditional. You're going to start Tyreek Hill. You're going to start Pat Mahomes. You're going to start TK, Travis Kelce. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, you have to start. I mean, you just have to at this point, and just kind of hope for the best. The Chargers, you're going to start Eckler. You're going to start Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen. Mike Williams seems to be dependent thus far. If you want to roll with him, you can. But again, the Chiefs isn't the easiest matchup. I know Jared Cook's been showing up a little, but I don't really want to do that unless you have to. It's tight end again. Who cares? So the pick is the Chiefs. The bet, I'll probably take the Chiefs to cover. Then next game, we have the New Orleans Saints against the New England Patriots. Patriots -3 favorites. Interesting. The Saints are the tale of two Saints. We saw what they did to the Packers, and then we saw what happened in Carolina. I don't know who the Saints really are. I don't know which Jameis is ever going to show up. So they're not one that I ever want to bet on or against. I look at the over-under. I don't mind the 42, but I don't really know what Mac Jones is going to do against the Saints D. I know Kamara had a down week last week, but hey, it's Kamara. You're going to start Alvin Kamara. That's probably about it on the Saints, in all honesty. Maybe their defense if you really want to. In regards to the Patriots, I guess you can start. I didn't like James White getting goal line carries. That was a little weird, but you can start Damian Harris. I guess you can spot start James White if you'd like. Their receivers, I'd probably stay away from in this game as well. So I am starting at that over, but that's probably the safest bet. I'd probably just, oh God, these are two good defenses. This is a tough game. This is a total pass. If I had to choose one, I guess I would go the Saints. But stay away from that game. All right. Next game, we have the Falcons up against the Giants. Giants -3 favorites. Interesting. Over under set at 47. Interesting. In all honesty, I'm probably taking the over at this one. These two are two bottom of the barrel teams, but their defenses have looked very shaky all season. So give me the over because they both have explosive offenses. You can start Saquon, even though he's still getting into the groove of things. He had like 13, 15 carries last week, and he broke one off. He's going to start becoming old Saquon. You can start Danny Dimes, as weird as it sounds. The dude was our leading rusher last week. He can run the ball, man. He fumbles, but if he's getting 80 yards rushing, it doesn't matter. Um, at this point, you can start Sterling Shepard. He seems to be pretty consistent there. Kenny Galladay is starting to get into the groove. You can start a lot of the Giants, man. You really can. And you can start the Falcons, too. You can start Mike Davis. I know he's had some tough matchups to start. This one's a little better for him. I'm on the ground. You can start Kyle Pitts. I'm not the biggest rookie tight end fan, but he had a decent game last week. You can start Calvin Ridley. You paid a high capital for him. He's a good wide receiver. He'll get you. Otherwise, yeah, I'll probably just bet the over on this one. And a pretty decent amount of fantasy value here. Not so much in the next game. We have an in-division rivalry game against the Steelers and the Bengals. Over-under is proving it's going to be low scoring. It's set at 43. Pitt, the -3 favorite. I need to know what's going on with them. Is Big Ben playing? Is Deontay Johnson playing? They have a lot of big injuries that could affect who wins the game. On a Bengals standpoint, that Pitt's D is so tough, but you have to start mixing. I mean, you drafted them early. The receivers stay away from. I don't know which one is going to go off, and it could be none of them. So I'd just stay away from all the receivers. On the Pitt side, you start Najee Harris, again, high draft capital, and he's a rookie. He's getting better each game. Outside of that, their receivers, Najee, you know what? I take it back. The Bengals run defense has proven to be very good this year. Don't start Najee unless you have to based on your capital. But if you can avoid it, if you're in a 8-man league, I'd probably stay away from starting Najee. Their receivers, I don't know what Deontay Johnson is doing. He's the consistent one, and he got hurt the very last play of the game. So I really don't want to start any Steelers, to be honest with you. So the bet, God, I don't know. I low-key want to take the under. Yeah, I'm going to take the under. I hate taking unders, but I don't see either one of these teams being able to go off the way they want to. If you have a backup quarterback and a rookie running back going against a good run defense, it's going to be tough for them to score. The Bengals going up against the Steelers pass defense, the best thing they do is pass, and we saw how that looked the last week. It's going to be tough for them to score. So I'm going to take the under. Ugh, it's gross. All right. Then next game we have the Arizona Cardinals, 2-0. So weird to say, going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Well, the soon-to-be 3-0 Cardinals are a -7.5 favorite. And I agree, man. I don't care that they're road favorites over a touchdown. Their defense isn't good. It looks pretty bad, but their pass rush looks phenomenal. And you have a rookie quarterback and a questionable offensive line. Give me the defense. Give me the high octane offense with the really, really good pass rush going up against a rookie. I mean, Cardinals, start him up. Jaguars D is god awful. Start your nuke. He's going to go off. You can honestly, in desperation mode, start Rondell Moore. You can start Christian Kirk. You can start AJ Green. You can start Chase Edmonds. Hell, you could even start James Conner at this point. That's how big of a route it's probably going to be. You're obviously going to start Kyler, not even a question. He's probably going to be the QB1 all year. Jaguar stance, you can start Marvin Jones, fire him up. I don't know what to do with James Robinson at this point, so I'm just staying away. I don't really want to start Trevor Lawrence in this matchup against the Cardinals, even though I'm starting a receiver. DJ Shark, was he injured? No, LaVisca was injured. So I would start Shark and Jones and call it a day. And I wouldn't start them unless he absolutely had to. And the Cardinals defense, sneaky move this week. So they're on a lot of waiver wires. I know I picked them up in 2 out of my 3 leagues. So you could also use them as a flex option or as a streaming option in regards to defense. Speaking of defenses, we have the Broncos going up against the Jets. If the Broncos are floating out there, you take them right now against Zach Wilson. He is He throws picks. I was trying to get fancy with a whole bunch of alliteration with P's and picks. Just screw it. He throws a lot of picks. This Jets offense is struggling. Yeah, Corey Davis looked fine week 1, week 2. Their run defense, I don't know what the fuck is going on there. I think Tevin Coleman's getting benched for Michael Carter, but it's not like Michael Carter is a godsend. It's not like Ty Johnson is a stud. I don't even remember who their receivers are outside of Corey Davis. And that's sad. So Braxton Berrios, stay away from the Jets offense in general. Broncos again, start their D. You can even start pieces of their offense because the Jets defense is terrible. For whatever reason, you can start Tim Patrick every year or every week because he wants to score every single week and no one can seem to stop him from doing so. If Javonte or Melvin are going to go off, this is the week. I never know which one. It's going to be back and forth each game. So pick your poison there. Hell, start both of them. The Jets are that bad. You can KJ Hamler, I'd stay away from. Cortland should explode. Cortland Sutton should lose his mind this week. And honestly, you can even start Teddy Bridgewater. Start Teddy Duke Loves. Start them all. Fire them up against the Jets. Broncos, minus 10.5 is the concern, though. That's a lot of points. And I could see a backdoor cover by the Jets. They did it week 1. I don't mind the over at 41.5 for whatever reason. I think the Broncos are going to explode, and then we're going to have a backdoor cover with that as well. 41 is super low. Yeesh. 10.5 is just too much for the Broncos. I don't like that. So I think the Broncos, you can start all their players in fantasy. I think they're going to win the game. And I'll probably bet the Jets to cover the 10.5. It's so weird. All righty. And then next game, we have the Dolphins going up against the Raiders. We have the Raiders is a -4 favorite. I hate fours. Fours are so weird. No washes with field goals. So in regards to a pick, I got to ride the high on with the Raiders, as gross as it sounds. They keep running into wins. Like they keep running the easy scenarios. Like they're running into the first game of the week against, or was it the Ravens was the first game of the year. And they upset them. They were in their house. It was the first game in Las Vegas. They got the job done. They went over to Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh dominated their defense. Derek Carr is looking like an MVP this year for whatever reason. Kind of like when Matt Stafford lost Calvin Johnson, was just spreading the ball around and looked phenomenal. That's exactly what Derek Carr looks like this year. So fire him up. Start Derek Carr. Brian Edwards is getting more and more involved in the offense. You can try it if you want, but the Dolphins secondary is really good. I mean, whether he has Xavier Howard or whether he has Byron Jones, it's a tough matchup either way. You're going to start Darren Waller. He's going to finish as a top 3 tight end as well. And then in regards to the Dolphins, Tua got ruled out. I don't like that Jacoby Brissett's there, so don't give me any of their receivers. I feel like Myles Gaskin can go off this week. I do have a good feeling about Myles Gaskin. So he's a start. Outside of that, that's about it. The pick, Raiders. The bet, I don't like 4. I'll actually take the over. I don't think the Raiders defense is that good, even though they're looking decent. I think it's more the offenses they're playing are really, really damaged. I still think the defense is bad for the Raiders, but their offense is surprisingly good for absolutely no reason. Josh Jacobs is out, so you can start your Chase Edmonds against Miami as well. Sorry, I forgot to mention. So I'll actually take the over 44. I think both teams can score enough to cover. Then the next game is probably the best game of the night. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going up against the LA Rams. Tampa -1. Wow. I like that. Over under set at 55. These are some pretty good defenses. I don't know about 55. In regards to the Buccaneers, you can start your Brady. You just have to at this point. You can start Godwin, you can start Evans, you can start them all. You always start the receivers, they're so good. For whatever reason, you could start Gronk this year too. You can't stop him from scoring this year. I'd stay away from the running backs in this game. The Rams, you can start Cooper Kupp. I believe you can beat the Buccaneers via the tight end, so this might be a decent Tyler Higbee week. Robert Woods, I'm not ready to give up on yet. I know Matt Stafford loves Cooper Kupp, but Robert Woods is going to go off eventually. This could be the time because the Bucs secondary is their weak spot. So In regards to the bet, God. In the prediction show, I predicted the Rams to get like 12 wins. I'm going to stick to it. I'll take the Rams, baby. I'll take them at home. And I think they're going to, Tampa Bay being the defending champ is going to get everybody's best. And if you're getting the best Aaron Donald's going to, that line is really good in Tampa. But if he gets through and hits Brady, he's hurting him. So I'll take the Rams, man. I think Stafford is a difference maker, and I'll be ballsy. I'll take the Rams. All right. Next game, we have the Seahawks going up against the Vikings. Over under has to be something crazy. Yep, 55. Seahawks minus 1.5. I don't know. I really don't know about this one. I think the Seahawks are the better team. Vikings at home is tough. I don't know about them being road favorites. Neither of their defenses are good. They haven't been good for years. So you can fire up Tyler Lockett, who's looking like he's like the number one wide receiver in the league right now. Fire up your DK Metcalf, fire up your Chris Carson, fire up your Russell Wilson. The tight ends, they're going to keep eating into each other, so leave them alone. Vikings-wise, go ahead and start Dalvin Cook here. That's a no-brainer. Start Justin Jefferson, start Adam Thielen, and honestly, in a pinch, you can start KJ Osborne. He seems to be the real deal. Outside of that, the picks themselves, God, I like the over under. I like the over, but 55, man, that's a lot of points. I think they cover. So I think I feel safer taking the over than picking a side here. This has late game heroics written all over it. In that instance, I'll usually take Russell Wilson over Kirk Cousins, but I'll probably be safer and just take you know what? Screw it. Give me the Seahawks. Go Hawks. I think they're going to get the job done, and I think they're going to get it done really late in heroic fashion by Russell Wilson. Just 2 games left. We have the Sunday night game. The who knows what's going on Green Bay Packers up against the San Fran beaten scrubs 49ers. Over under set at 50. Line San Fran -3. I don't believe the 49ers are fully real. They have a lot of injuries going on right now, a lot of questions at quarterback, a lot of questions at receiver. I think Jair Alexander shadows, so he is going to shadow Debo and shut him down. They don't have any of their running backs. Literally, they're all hurt. I think this is a trap game. I don't care that they're at home. Give me Green Bay. I know they look terrible week 1. They took out their anger week 2, and they're back. They're back into the groove. I'll take Green Bay all day here as dogs. Give me Green Bay money line. Honestly, I'm confused that they're the underdogs. In retrospect, San Fran's defense is pretty good. It's not that they're going to come in and run through them. However, they'll probably get it done. On the Green Bay side, you start Devontae. You probably start Rodgers. And Aaron Jones, clearly. And then outside of that, on the 49ers side, I don't want to start anyone. Start George Kittle. That's it. That's all I can start. And honestly, he should have a pretty good game. And then, forget the over. Just give me the Packers straight up as dogs. Honestly, take a money line. And then the last game of the night, we have the Philadelphia Eagles in division going against the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys -3.5 favorites. I don't like the half. I don't like that it's in division and they're already talking the rivalry. In regards to fantasy, man, it kills me to say, but this Zeke Pollard split has me worried in reference to playing the Eagles, who have a really good run defense. If it was just one dominant person, I would say they have a rough day, but they'll do just fine. But they're going to split the rough day. So I don't want to start either one. You want to throw on the Eagles. So I think Amari goes off as long as he can play. I know he got hurt last game. CD's going to go off whether Amari's there or not. And I feel like Dak's going to have a pretty good game in general, whether it's Cedric Wilson or whoever. So start Dak and start the receivers. Otherwise, leave tight ends and the running backs alone. And then when it comes to the Eagles, Jalen Hurts is on a mission to prove everyone wrong. So you can start Jalen Hurts against this terrible Cowboys defense. You can start Devontae Smith. You can start... Jeez, I don't know. Sanders and Gainwell keep eating into each other. I need to see a little more of what's going on there. Otherwise, God, do you really want to start Rager? I don't know if Ertz is playing. If Ertz isn't playing, definitely start Goddard. If Ertz is playing, I'd probably just stick to Jalen and the risks, and honestly, just Jalen to be safe. In all honesty, in regards to the bet, it's set at 51.5. I don't know if that's going to hit. In division games are always kind of lower. I think I'm going to have to take my second under. In all honesty, I don't trust Cowboys 3.5. I don't. The Cowboys are overrated every year. The Eagles, I don't really know what they are this year. So give me the under. In all honesty, I know these defenses are ass, but give me the under 51.5. That's a lot of points for two questionable teams. Otherwise, yeah, don't feel the best about this week, but those are the weeks where you go off. Again, you can always catch picks and everything over at the Stacks and Stacks podcast on Instagram and Twitter. I'll put it in the description. Otherwise, let's have a good week this week. Enjoy some games. Enjoy UFC on Saturday, and have one hell of a sports weekend. We'll see you later.